Alrighty, hello VC, I've got Roddus here again. This time with yet another vinyl video. I've still got a couple of videos, or at least one more video that I haven't posted yet that I did recently. I did about 4 videos in one day because there's been so much vinyl coming through. I can only do short videos at a time on this camera before it runs out of memory. Anyway, so I had a few more come in the post that had been on order for a while, and then a couple of recent ones that I picked up, New Zealand ones, off their Bandcamp sites, and also had a job in near the city late last week and decided that I was going to pop into town. Well, I had to pop into town to my wholesalers and pick up some gear and drop some gear off, so took the opportunity to whiz round to, as I finished my jobs early, whiz round to the record shop, as you do. There was actually some stuff in mind that I'd seen in the New Zealand music bins that I wanted to explore, and they were fairly cheap records. And seeing as I've been really focusing on New Zealand records this year and expanding my knowledge of New Zealand music, I was quite keen to get my hands on some of these records. So I'll get straight into it here, and now I haven't got them in any order. So the ones that I had in mind when I went into town were that I'd seen in the shop was, well, first of all, the one playing behind me. This is playing on the stereo now. This is a record called Canzona, Music for Strings and Voices by Douglas Lilburn. The painting actually is a picture of the mountain range, which is actually just over here to my left. It's called the Tall S range. It took me a wee while to look at it and recognise it, but it's actually, the painting looks like it's been painted from the perspective of being on the side of the Port Hills, which is just above Christchurch, and I live sort of somewhere out here in the flat. So Douglas Lilburn is probably New Zealand's most well-known classical or modern composer, and listening to his work, I'm actually quite impressed and quite like it. I mean, I'm not a big classical fan, and I certainly like more modern 20th century stuff as opposed to the romantic and the baroque and all the other stuff like that. So and this was, like I say, one of the ones. This is on a label called Kiwi Pacific Records, who put out quite a lot of New Zealand contemporary music back in the late 70s, early 80s. And as a matter of fact, I found out that they're still going today. The label is still around. They have a website. They mostly CDs, of course, now. They put out a lot of ethnic Maori music, island music, some very small amount of jazz, and some modern classical, New Zealand classical. So that's cool. Which I'll be having a look at some of that stuff later on. So sticking with Douglas Lilburn, this one here is another one from Kiwi Pacific from 1983. New Zealand Brass Quintet. Now, I got it because it's Lilburn. Normally a brass record, brass band record, I would be going, ooh. There's 3 composers on here. There's Douglas Lilburn, John Ritchie, and Kenneth Young. I don't know either of those other 2 yet, but this is actually really good. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members in the brass quintet, of course, because it's a quintet. I haven't got all the way through this record just yet, but the first track is the Lilburn track, which I was really impressed with. So this was actually quite a surprise. I wasn't expecting much from this sort of music, but I quite like it, what I've heard so far. The next one is this one here, Concertante Ensemble, Music for Wind Quintet. Again, this is a compilation of 4 of New Zealand's composers, Robert Birch, David Farquhar, who I have showed a CD recently. I've got something more recent, although he has passed away, and John Rimmer and Ken Wilson. So there's even more. So it's actually really exposing me to the New Zealand composers. These guys, this is from 1980, so these are fairly old fellas. Some of these pieces are written in the 60s, we've got 67, 65, yeah, they're all written in the 1960s. This is a good record, I do like this is nice, yeah, this is nice music. And then I saw this one, and so these are the ones that I'd seen in the shop recently, and I sort of, I mean, I hadn't bought them because I thought, oh, you know, not really, but I thought, bugger it, I'll give it a go. This one here, the reason I picked this one up, Mark Walton, is actually, this guy lives in my town, and I've worked for him. I've done some work in his house, so I've actually met him and talked to him, and I knew he played an instrument. He actually wired up, he actually made himself a wee studio, which I wired up for him. This is just the two of them, a piano and a clarinet. It's not, I've never heard of most of the people who have written the music. I can't even pronounce some of the names, but yeah, most of the composers I didn't know, so I'm not really sure. There were Schubert, of course, but the rest of them I really don't know the names. So interesting. It's quite mellow. It's not my cup of tea really, but it is quite. It's not unlistenable. I quite like it. I like it a little bit. He's actually got quite a bit of music out, mostly on CD. Next time I see him, I'll tell him that I found this anyway, so that's cool. And then another record that I'd seen in there and I've been humming and hawing about, this is completely different, is this one here, Cassandra's Ears. This is from 1988. It's a 5-track mini album, 12-inch, plays at 33 RPM. This is, you know, jangly pop music. Now, the reason I brought it mainly was because Jan Hellriegel, she kind of, I think, was the leader of this band. She's guitar, vocals, and she had some quite good pop songs that she released a little bit later after this. So, yeah, I thought I'd give it a go. This was pretty cheap, so it's actually okay. I wouldn't rave about it. I think I need to get a bit more familiar with it, but that's fine. And then finally from the shop that day, I picked up this one, the Manta Rays. Now, I'd seen this around in the shop a bit. This is brand new. I had come across them, I think, through one of Chris's videos or on somehow from Chris Walker, and I thought I'd give it a go, and I got a bit of a discount on it because I know the guys down there and I buy a lot of stuff. So this is kind of like instrumental, kind of surfy, poppy rock. It's quite cool. It's quite quirky, and I actually really enjoyed it. I think this is their second album. This is from 2013. This is number 47, limited edition of 150. Also on this really cool blue vinyl, and this is through RPR Records, which would God, what does that stand for again? Rough Peel Records. Rough Peel Records is actually, I think, from memory, a record shop up north, but they have their own record label, and there's a Christchurch band that I really like, which I've got recently, called The Eastern, who are an Americana type band who released some stuff on that label too, so that was cool. So I really enjoyed that. Now, last week in the mail I managed to, oh sorry, I missed one. This one here, picked it up in the shops. Beaver live at Ronnie Scott's in 1987. This is kind of a really famous New Zealand record in that, I mean, I'm not sure if that many people have heard it, but it's kind of got a bit of a reputation. It's certainly well known. I mean, there's probably plenty of copies of it floating around. I didn't have to pay much for it. It's actually in very good condition. It's pretty much mint condition, and she's a great vocalist. It's really pretty laid back, smooth jazz. Don't usually go for jazz singers, but she was in a band called Blurter back in the 70s, which was a real kind of progressive, funky, jazzy kind of prog band, pop band, who in New Zealand, who used to cruise around in a big old bus doing kind of multimedia shows. Bruno Lawrence was their creator. He was an actor and musician in New Zealand. He was did a few movies here. He was actually quite a bit of a legend actually in New Zealand, but unfortunately he passed away quite some time ago in his early 50s from cancer, from memory. Okay, this arrived in the mail this week. This is Jackal Castle in the Air. Again, this is an well, it's a mini album, but it does actually has 8 songs on it, so it actually is near a full album really. But yeah, I really like this one. It's quite quirky, instrumental pop music. I think it's on coloured vinyl, yes. Yeah, it's on a marble kind of, pretty cool. It's sort of self-released, so there's not really a label here. Yeah, jackalband.com. Yeah, Jackal004. So that's really sort of fairly self-released. So I picked that up and was really impressed with it, and so I ordered their other record. Now I don't think they've got any more, but their other record from a couple of years later, and it's quite a bit different actually. It's sort of a bit more, it's a bit sparser, it's a bit more laid back, it's a bit more folky even. It's what's it called? Sparkle. This is supposed to be their debut album, the other one's supposed to be an EP. This has actually got 10 songs on it, so it's got 2 extra. I haven't quite taken to this. This is from last year, recorded between January 2014 and September 2014, came out last year in 2015. Yeah, it's just on black vinyl. Still kind of growing on me, but yeah, I'm not sure. Doesn't do it for me as much as the first one did, and it's a little bit different, you know. The music's not quite the same, but still, give it a chance. So, pleased to have those. And then this one here, also ordered in the mail, came in, Joe Blossom. Now, this was highly recommended by Chris Walker, and I've actually only had a little chance to hear it once so far. And it sounds pretty cool. I'm quite impressed. I don't think it's his first album. I think from memory I saw something that was a bit earlier. What have we got here? This is actually brand new this year, isn't it? This is his latest thing out. Can't see the date on it. I'm pretty sure this is late. I didn't go for the gold vinyl version because it was an extra $10 on the price of it, and plus the cost of getting it here. So, you know, I'm not too worried about that, to be honest. It'd be nice, but you know, it all adds up, doesn't it, the money. And finally, this one here has been on order for several weeks, and it finally arrived this week. Absolutely rapt to have this. Kind of been thinking about it, and I'd actually seen it in the local warehouse shops for $130, and I've been humming and ahhing about it, and then, which was, I probably would have bought from them because it was about the same price as actually getting it from overseas, so I wasn't going to save any money there, but at least I would have to worry about the postal side of it and getting damaged. But at the end of the day, after the Britex thing and the English pound dropping and the New Zealand dollar going up, or whatever, how it worked out that it was a lot cheaper for me to buy this, so I actually got it up for just over $100, including postage. Fantastic set. I mean, the vinyl in here is absolutely some of the best vinyl I have seen from new releases. It's just absolutely beautiful condition. We get this lovely glossy magazine with some great pictures and rundown on all the music. There's actually 4 albums in here for $100. Really value for money. It's actually really good. And the sound quality, someone asked me about the sound quality. Maybe there'd been some issues with other copies of this. When they asked me that at the stage, I only played the first album, and the sound quality I thought was outstanding for old recordings. And some of them are fairly live, actually, really, aren't they? The sessions at the BBC. So I was pretty impressed. Yeah, there is a little bit of up and downness to the quality of them because they're all from different sessions. I mean, they're from 1968 to 1972, recorded at different times. Some of them might be better than others, but overall I think that they sound pretty damn good, actually, so I'm really rapt. So I'm pleased to have this, and really also pretty excited about the next Bowie box set, which is due out in September. So really kind of keen to get my hands on that. So, to be honest, that is my lot at the moment. There is one more piece of vinyl in the post that I have ordered, and that is it. And until I get the urge and the splurge the urge to splurge again. Well, actually when I get the money to splurge. So yes, there's been a lot. This video won't go up for a few days because I've still got another one to post. I've actually got a bit of a backlog, but I'm just taking advantage of having the lounge to myself tonight to make the videos. So hope you're well, hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that showed you something that you haven't seen before, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.